So you're feeling really stressed and overwhelmed as a helping professional. Trust me, I have been there. I've been there as a teacher, I've been there as a coach, as an entrepreneur, even as a restaurant owner. I've been there in so many different areas, and I really want to help you to feel empowered today with 10 tools that you can use to help to lessen your anxiety and overwhelm as a helping professional. So make sure you also stay to the end because I have a special gift for you.
Welcome to the Bela Coaching YouTube channel, supporting helping professionals with long-lasting habits for energy in your life, body, and business through courses like Balance for Life to help mental health professionals create simple systems and habits to make the most out of your time, money, and lifestyle. Nutrition for Life to help you transition to plant-based nutrition and stick to it for good so that you can improve your mental and physical health and become a conscious consumer in the process, as well as individual coaching and counseling to cover anything in between so that you can live whole, love well, and lead adventurously. For more information, see the resources in the description below.
The first thing I want you to do is actually to create and follow a schedule. Now, I have a step-by-step guide for helping you to create and follow a schedule, and I've linked to it in the description below. But ultimately, I just want you to set out all of your different activities each week and make sure that you have a simple process that you're following to stick to that schedule. So at least you have a guideline and you have structure so that you can begin to feel less chaotic through all of the different things that you have to do. And the more that you learn to use the schedule to your advantage, the more that your anxiety starts to lessen. You feel in control of your life, in control of your schedule. You know what to expect and when. You don't lose track of all those different activities that you have throughout each week, and you feel more in control of your life and everything that's involved in it. Next is actually a nutritional recommendation to cut out the caffeine. And I know we've become very reliant as an American society on our morning coffee. And there are so many like cool, cute little mugs and all these things about getting our morning coffee before we start our day. And we think it's so funny and so fun. At the same time, that coffee can a lot of times have a negative effect on our bodies. And it makes us more jittery, it makes us more anxious, and just continues to contribute to an anxious system and an anxious body that then is coming out in your ways that you're responding to people, the ways that you're responding to your clients, and the way that you overall feel about your day. So if you are struggling with letting go of your coffee and you're like, oh man, but I have it every morning and it's my favorite thing, maybe try to transition to a tea or something like a smoothie or something that you also can really look forward to and you love, but it's not going to give you that caffeine that is going to make you more jittery and more anxious throughout your day and ultimately carry on throughout your life. And this is something that is on the preventative side. Your anxiety a lot of times it's not even us, it's something that we are adding to our bodies. And so that's why I talk a lot about nutrition, because your gut really is your second brain. It's something that is contributing to the way that you're feeling. And so what we put in is what's going to come out. It's going to come out here in our mouth and what we say to people. It's going to come out in our thoughts and our emotions. And so the more that you can get a harness on your nutrition and fuel your body with the food that it needs, the better that your anxiety is going to feel, and the more calm that you'll feel throughout the process. The next is meditation. I have come to love meditation. It is something that has really helped to calm my spirit and keep me focused on the things that are most important in my life. And it gets me really excited, actually. It helps me to fall asleep at night. I'll turn it on as I'm starting to drift off. It keeps my mind in a good focused place as I'm going into sleep. And then I wake up feeling relieved and energized and in a good positive headspace because I have put myself to sleep in that way. So if you are wanting to start a meditation practice, there are so many great meditation apps, and I actually have a video dedicated to that, and so I'll link to that in the description below. Fourth is to simplify your belongings. It's amazing to me how when my environment feels cluttered and it feels chaotic and it's all messy and not clean, I really feel more anxious because what I'm seeing around me is what's actually going on in my head. So think about your space as a reflection of your mind. And so the more that you can clean out your belongings, you're surrounded by things that encourage you, keep you in a positive headspace, remind you of positive things, the more flow that it has and organization that it has, the more that your mind will feel calm and in control and collected as well. So the more that you can start to adapt this, and I know, if we have kids, or even if we don't have kids, I don't have kids, but it's just me and my husband, and I feel like every 5 seconds, it's a mess again. But at the same time, the more that I keep it clean and I take care of it and I keep our belongings simplified, get rid of the things that we don't need, the easier it is for me to care for it, and also the less anxious I am about the amount of excess that we have and the amount of stuff that we have, because it's simplified, it's exactly what I need, and it's not taking up all of my physical space or my brain space in the process. Now, I mentioned also setting up a schedule. So the next thing that we need to do when we set up a schedule is to really set up boundaries. And this isn't just around our schedule, this is around our time, this is around the kind of things that we trust others with. There are so many things when it comes to boundaries that we can go into, but ultimately setting boundaries with ourselves and with other people. And what I mean when I say with ourselves is, like, you may set boundaries on how long you're going to spend on a task, or the kind of day that you're going to have, and you say, I'm gonna watch TV for a short amount of time, and then I'm gonna go for a walk and spend some time outside. Those are still boundaries within your life, and the more that we respect those boundaries and we set those boundaries on ourselves, I'm not just gonna sit here and binge watch Netflix all day and not take care of my actual needs. This is about self-care too. So instead of going outside, I'm just gonna sit here and watch TV. We need to set those boundaries with ourselves and say, okay, I'm going to do this for a certain amount of time, but then I need to make sure that I'm taking care of my other needs as well. So it's very important to set boundaries with ourselves. And then to set boundaries with others looks like being able to kindly and tactfully explain or share with others that this is beyond where I'm going to go. So essentially, like if you have clients or you have friends or relationships, I'll start with clients. If you have clients that are calling you during off hours, how are you going to respond to them? How are you going to say no, or say, this is not the time for this? Maybe it's by not responding to calls or texts during certain times, or replying to emails during your weekends or off times, and certainly not in the middle of the night. There are so many ways that we can set boundaries around our work so that our work is at work, and then when we're at home and we're focused there. When you're setting boundaries with friends and relationships, it may look like, there are certain people that I trust with this information, and that's my core group of people and the people that I care about, and I'm really invested in these relationships. And then there are other people that are kind of like that second ring, that it's like, okay, these are they're a little bit more than acquaintances, but they're not best friends, and so you're going to share certain information with them as well. All of those are boundaries that help to protect us in the long run. They help us to really feel safe in our lives and in our relationships with the people around us. And so setting boundaries helps to lessen our anxiety and not feel like we have all these people trying to speak into our lives and tell us what to do with our lives when we don't really have that depth of relationship with them, or want necessarily their input because they're maybe not in line with our values and our vision. They're not in alignment with who we're trying to become. And so that's why it's really important to really be careful who we're sharing everything with, so that we can make sure that we're taking care of ourselves and advocating for ourselves in relationships, and really ultimately reaching the goals and the things that we want to see in our lives. The next thing that can help to lessen anxiety is being able to say no. And this one is a really difficult one, especially for a lot of us givers and helping professionals, where we have such a compassionate, empathic spirit that we're just like, but they need me, but they need support, and they need this more than I do, and so we put ourselves on the back burner. But it's really a gift, and it's a tool of lessening your anxiety and lessening your overwhelm to be able to say no. And when we say no, it doesn't have to be malicious. Like I said, we can say it in a way that is kind and appropriate, but it's also something that lets them know, this is as far as I go. I'm sorry, but I can't take on new clients right now. I'm sorry, but this is how it is. Essentially that's what we're saying. I know, and to say I'm sorry is not necessarily like, I don't know, it's not necessarily that, I'm sorry that I have boundaries, but it's more like, I know that this is hard for you. That's more what the I'm sorry that I'm meaning, and you don't even have to say I'm sorry. Sometimes I feel like we apologize a lot, and so maybe not saying I'm sorry, but this is something that I know is going to be really difficult for you, but at the same time, this is how it is, and these are the boundaries that I've set for myself. And that's what distinguishes you from just being a supporter and a helping professional to also being human and knowing your limits. And I think that's really important. And we're not just saying no for the sake of saying no. A lot of times that no gives us the ability to self-care and take time for ourselves and have a life outside of work, so that when we come back to work, we're even stronger, we're even better givers than we were before, because we've taken that time out and because we've done something else, and now we're coming back to it. So again, this is in the best self-interest. This is in the best interest of yourself and of your clients and the people that you're working with, because saying no is such a gift. It's such a huge part of us keeping our own balance, keeping our own energy up, and being able to serve fully as a professional and in our personal lives. Next is to turn off social media and the news. I know this one can be so difficult because it's something that I really feel like it's very addictive, and it's something that we can just mindlessly scroll for hours and hours, and we don't set those limits on ourselves. So again, boundaries, but we also want to just pay attention to how often we're spending in these different things. So with the news, there's a time for it, and there's an understanding of, okay, these are the events that are happening in the world, but also I have a life outside of this, and if I spend too much time in the news, or if I spend too much time on social media, social media can be a great tool for connecting with others, but if we spend too much time on these tasks, they become all-consuming, and they can become very negative and take us down this rabbit hole of all these different problematic things that are just really not beneficial or helpful for helping us to learn about the actual events in the world, or get us to a more proactive place where we can do something about it. And we just find ourselves in like these negative spirals in these kind of zones. So I encourage you to turn off those different devices or different apps, take them off your phone, set a specific amount of time that you're going to look at them, certainly not first thing in the morning or last thing before you go to bed. That's actually leading into the next one as well, and that is to turn off technology. So setting at least the hour before you go to bed and the hour after you wake up in the morning, reserving those hours for silence and for you. So you turn off technology, you get off technology, maybe to turn on YouTube, to turn on a meditation, or, to open your meditation app, that's about it, for that first hour and that last hour. And trying to find different things that help you to wind down, and also to help you to gradually wake up, so that you're in a state where you're acting the way that you want to act in your day and in your life. And I find that if I immediately jump into my email inbox, or I immediately jump into social media or the news, I'm immediately walking into, like when I first wake up in the morning, I'm immediately walking into this, well, this person's mad about this, and then this person's upset about this, and then this is what we need to do here. We need to be doing this, we need to be doing that. If we start our days like that, like imagine, and you've probably experienced it, where we just start off our days in this highly anxious headspace, instead of really feeling like the confident person that we want to walk into the day with, where we set our intentions for the day and we say, this is who I am and this is what I want to walk into today. And we walk much more confidently into our day when we've had that first hour of the day and that last hour of the evening to unwind or to revitalize, in the morning. So it's really important to preserve those times, and that'll help to lessen your anxiety as well. Next thing is to get out in the sunshine. This is one of my favorite ways of lessening my anxiety. I get outside, even if it's cold or it's really hot, it's still so nice to get out in the fresh air, breathe the fresh air, and really feel the natural air go into your lungs, as well as being out in the sunshine, which gives us vitamin D, which also helps us to be more positive and keep us in a happier headspace. And so make sure that you get that vitamin D each day and that you're spending time out in the sunshine. The recommended amount is at least 15 minutes, and that's contact with your face and contact with your hands. And so you want your skin to be exposed so that it can absorb the vitamin D through those areas. It'll help to lessen your anxiety, help you to feel like you're breathing in that fresh, natural air and not the processed air that's inside that just keeps cycling around the room. So we want that fresh air to enter your lungs. And finally is to get your body moving. So this looks so different for so many different people, but if you are getting outside, maybe you're going for a walk, maybe you are going for a hike and doing activity that way. Maybe you're working out in the morning and it's something like kickboxing where you can let out that energy, and sometimes it's dance where you just let your body flow and you let your body move. Maybe it's yoga where it's calming and you're stretching everything out and you're practicing your breathing. So breathing techniques are really helpful as well. That's for another video. But these breathing styles and different kinds of physical activity can help you to feel more energized, more alive, and filled with all of the happy chemicals. Especially if you can do 30 minutes of movement, you get your heart rate up, which helps you to be more focused throughout your day, helps you to break a sweat, clean out the toxins in your body, and really start your day off strong when you start out with physical activity. So whatever that looks like for you, I encourage you to choose an exercise or physical activity that helps you to feel alive and is something that you enjoy. This is not about weight loss. This is not about punishing your body or like really pushing it really hard. I'm talking about 30 minutes to get you active, give you energy, and give you focus. And start from there, especially if it's a new exercise or new routine. And the more that you get into it, then you can up the intensity. And if you really want to push yourself and challenge yourself in different ways down the line, then that's something that you can do as well. But I definitely encourage at least 30 minutes a day to keep you active and to help lessen your anxiety throughout your days.
And as promised, I have a couple of free gifts for you guys today. I encourage you to check out my transition to plant-based vegan if you're wanting to learn more about transitioning to plant-based vegan and wanting to learn more about nutrition. And I also have a stress management one related specifically to what we talked about today, most primarily, and how to organize an overwhelming schedule as a mental health professional in private practice. So if those are interests of yours for added resources, and I encourage you to check them out. The links are in the description below.
So there you have it, 10 ways that you can lessen your anxiety in a holistic wellness approach. And so we are going for natural healing methods, natural anxiety relievers that'll help you to feel more energized, more balanced, and less anxious and overwhelmed throughout your work week and throughout your life in general. So thanks for watching. Check out those resources in the description below, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and comment below with what was most helpful for you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button along with the bell icon to get notified about upcoming videos from Bela Coaching like this one. Visit kbelacoaching.com for details on services and information on upcoming live events, and follow Bela on social media like Instagram and Facebook for more great content. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon.